Well, it is the first day ever of the LTA. I've never said that before at the start of an interview because we've now officially switched over to the LTA. If you're watching this video and you're like, I haven't watched any interviews since last year, you're going to be really confused. Either way, I'm joined right now by Inspired from FlyQuest, fresh off of what seemed to be a pretty easy victory against Shopify.
Yeah.
It's funny, I was thinking, I realized on Hotline League, like normally the first match of the year is a like super spicy match between maybe the last finalists or something, you know, maybe you guys first Team Liquid. But because it's a bracket tournament, they have to put you with a lower seed.
Yeah.
So was it anticlimactic at all to face them?
Yeah, as you said, like the previous in Summer Split, for example, we played against Team Liquid the first game. It was like the hardest game at the beginning. Now we knew that we were playing against one of the weaker teams first game. So I guess we had a little bit of pressure on us because obviously we didn't play on stage for a long time. We didn't see how they play at all, so we didn't really know what to expect. So maybe we were a little bit like, not scared, but we just weren't as confident as usual because we didn't know what to expect. But going into the game, everything went pretty smoothly. They didn't really surprise us with anything. And once the game started and we saw their like game plan and the way they were playing, we knew that they didn't really prepare anything special. So then it went pretty easily.
How do you feel about Fearless Draft?
I think it doesn't affect that much the best of threes. I think it affects the best of fives a lot, especially in game 4 and 5. I think if you 3-0 someone in best of 5, it also doesn't really affect it. But if you go into the game 4 and 5, you actually have to start thinking more about the picks. But for example, best of threes, it has a little bit of effect if like first game, for example, the prior picks of ADC are out, and ADC is like, it's always been the role that you play like 4 or 5 champs. It's always been like that. ADC players don't really practice many champions because the best ones you just have to play. So after game 1, you still have bans. So if both teams in the first phase of the bans in the second game start banning ADCs, you can go a bit deeper into champion pool. And if it would go to game 3, I think then ADCs can get pretty funny. So I can see people play some unique ADCs. But in best of 5s, I think then you will get unique picks in every role. So I think I'm looking forward towards the best of 5s that are going to be happening in Brazil if we make it there, because I think those games will be pretty funny. Actually, wait, it's only final best of 5, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, then I hope we make it to the final.
So it seems as though you don't care either way. Like if this is Fearless for best of 3s, you're like, sure, whatever. If it wasn't Fearless, you'd be like, that's fine too.
Yeah, I think it's whatever, but at least I don't play the same champs in scrims. Like in scrims, there have been days in the last seasons where you play, like for example, one champ for 3 games out of 5. Right now, it doesn't happen. You play like 3 games and then you have a break and then you play 3 games again. And both of these blocks are fearless. So like I can play only 1 game of each champion per 3 games. So that's like nicer for practice, I guess. And it's just more fun to play, I think, because it's always better to play more champs.
Does it ever become an issue if you're trying to like adjust to a new champion or something that you haven't played in a while that's coming to the meta?
Yeah, I think it will be weird to practice with like Mel Open, for example, because it's gonna be only 1 game per 3 blocks, and people might also ban it all the time. So it's like, where do you even get a practice against that champ? I think maybe people will make some different rules that we make Mel Open every game, so we can like actually practice her or something. I don't know what's gonna happen, but yeah, I think that makes a point. Like if you want to practice against something specific, it's kind of annoying.
On the topic of scrims, it's interesting that, because it's funny, we did Hotline League this week, and I think Papa Smithy and Jack were both in the chat, and we had a caller come in that was like, hey, people should stream scrims, and both of them were like talking in the chat a little bit about it, weighing in, and my take was, I feel as though teams won't want to do this because it'll reveal too much, et cetera, et cetera. But on stage, Whippo seemed to be like campaigning for it, like he's running for office. He's like, I believe in stream scrims. My opponents do not. So I guess, are all 5 of you on board with this? Is there any downside?
I mean, for sure there is a lot of downside. I think it makes the whole winning harder. Like if our opponents are gonna be able to see all the things we practice, like it's for sure a downside. I don't see that any upside for us. And if I'm happy with that, like I'll be down to try it. I think it's a nice opportunity because no one from like Pro League, Tier 1 League tried it yet. I'm not like a biggest fan of it, but I don't think it should make us that big of an issue. I don't really like revealing like my game sense and game plan, because that's why I often also don't stream, because I feel like if I'm streaming and giving away everything I have, like all input that I have into the games, it can make competition quite better. But I think they have to make use of it first in order to even learn anything. So I would be fine trying it because, as I said, I think it could be interesting because no one really tried it before. But so far we didn't really get any team that would like to do that too.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if people do agree to it. I kind of think it'll be one of those things where it'll be done a little bit in the beginning and then not again later. Because, it's hard to imagine and now we're entering the finals, and this week you get to watch everyone scrim before it. You know, so I'm fascinated. I'm really surprised that any team is calling out for it. Even though I know that the fans are pretty excited about the idea of it.
I mean, that's for sure exciting for fans. Like, if I would be a fan and I could get I could see how it's done behind the scenes, it's for sure interesting because all you see is just official games. You don't really know how the teams get there, why they draft certain ways, what they like to pick and stuff like that. So it would be fun to see it from the inside, but from the competitive perspective, I don't think it gives you an advantage. It just gives you disadvantages. So you have to think if it's really worth for you.
Well, and one of the questions that I had as I say goodbye to the flight coach, to Basil and the crew, one of the questions that I had is all right, people are enjoying watching these scrims that are happening in Europe because they're kind of like content teams in a sense,
exactly.
right? You've got a bunch of entertainers that are all trying to compete, and it's very similar to, I mean, when I first started covering League 50 years ago, and it was, that was kind of how all this was done. But I'm pro players these days are not all entertainers. Obviously, you have loudmouths like Sven and Whippo or whatever, but it's are these going to be as compelling to watch as whenever you've got a bunch of content creators and personalities?
I think it would be very interesting to watch for the first team that does it. So I think if we would start doing it, I think it would for sure be really interesting at the beginning. And I don't know if it would keep being interesting for people for a long period of time. I think we have a lot of funny persons in the team. I think everyone, the viewers would enjoy watching it, and I think they would stick around. But I think if every team would start doing it, eventually, third or fourth team, if Shopify started streaming their scrims, I don't think people would really care about it too much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's for sure more interesting when you watch your favorite streamers do it, that you spend time watching them anyway when they are playing solo queue, and watching them play competitive game is even more entertaining. So.
Well, and I also think that you mentioned that it might be an issue because people can see the strategies, but also I wonder how much it changes the scrim dynamic, because you guys might be and now we'll make a joke for the chat or something, you know what I mean? I'm sure you start spending at least some percentage, 5 or 10% of your brain power also thinking about the fact that this is somewhat of a performance. So I don't know, it'll be interesting to see.
For sure it would be like that. I can see Whippo start yelling so hard just to make people laugh in the chat.
Yes.
So that's for sure. It's gonna be less tryhard, and having less tryhard scrims in the long process might make your performance worse.
Yeah.
So it's as I said, I think it's disadvantage in every angle, but it can be very entertaining, interesting to watch, and give us other benefits. So.
All right. So when it was first rumored that North America would be merging with Brazil or that we'd be flying there, I remember saying to myself okay, I'm a little worried. Because if it is not competitive, I can see North American players being you made me fly, however many hours, 14 hours or something, all the way to Brazil to just stomp people. Do you have that sense at all? Are you excited about potentially doing this? Do you think it'll be valuable?
I mean, I'm for sure excited, and I also know that for sure the teams in that league will upgrade their rosters because more players will wanna play in that league because they know that it's high chance you make it to international event. So obviously the teams there are gonna be stronger as well. And even before, the first team from Brazil was always a decent team. I wouldn't say you go into the game and you have a free win for sure. Obviously you are better, and if you try really hard at Worlds, you should beat them. But going into playoffs, and it's just 4 of the teams, you have to prepare for all of them. I think they can easily take games off of our side.
Yeah.
But. I mean, when I heard about it, I instantly knew it's a good change. I think it's something that we should like. I think it will make the league more interesting. It will make viewership higher. I think it will be way more fun as well. People will actually have teams to cheer for, and it's gonna be fun.
Are you worried at all about the travel? Because let's say you are the best team in this league.
Yeah.
You're gonna be here. Then you're gonna fly to Brazil. You'll be in Brazil for 2 weeks. Then you're gonna fly to Korea. You'll be in Korea for a week. Then you come back. You play some more. Then you fly to Vancouver, which is at least in the same time zone. But it's funny because I think people have wanted more international events for a while, But obviously, one of the downsides is that you start ending up in this situation where you're spending a lot of time on planes and flights, and maybe less time practicing.
Yeah, when I was younger, when I was like 18, I didn't feel jet lag, and I thought jet lag is a myth. But then when right now I'm 23 actually, I actually started feeling jet lag a bit. So when I'm traveling, I'm like a bit tired for a day or 2 days.
Wait until you're 35.
So I'm not really a big fan now of traveling for more than 10 hours,
Yeah.
or even 8 hours, and it's gonna be a long flight to Brazil if we make it, and then to Korea, as you said, like all over the place. I don't like that part, but I think we have to adjust, and I think it shouldn't really affect our performance, because as long as you get to that place and you can at least adjust a little bit, you have some time, then it should be fine. And I think it's worth the effort, like the traveling, to make the tournaments interesting.
Yeah. I definitely think it's far more interesting. I think years ago we were starting around this time, and it'd be like, and now we spend the next 10 weeks getting to playoffs.
Yes, exactly.
So
that's what I was always saying in my every team for the past 4 years. Guys, like regular season is so useless. Like I was legit going on stage and just playing. If you lost, it doesn't matter. When I won my splits with EG, we finished 9-9. With Rogue, I think I was finished like 13-1, and I didn't win the split. So like, what's the point of even caring that much about a regular season? It was just make playoffs and then perform there. But right now it seems like every game is counting. So that's for sure more interesting.
Well, is there anything you want to say to any of the fans out there?
Thank you guys for supporting. I noticed that we got like so many more fans after our performance at Worlds, so I would like to welcome them, and also thank you for all the OG fans that are supporting us through the beginning. And I hope you guys will keep cheering for us, and we'll try to play our best.
Thank you so much for the interview. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things LTA right here on my YouTube channel.
Now this here's a little song I like to call... Wait a minute. TGI viewers, what are you... Oh, Travis must have sent you here. Well, since I wasn't there that week to film, he had me do the outro, so I might as well tell you about the amazing membership benefits that you can get for just $2.99 a month. You get early access to all the videos, plus, once a month, you get an exclusive video just for you. Now, if you don't mind. Go on.